let's take a look at some examples. If I have 2 times a negative 3, well, one sign is positive, the other's negative, so my final answer turns out to be negative 6. Or if I have negative 2 times 3, well, one sign is negative, the other's positive, so my answer turns out to be negative 6. Now if I have a negative 2 times a negative 3, the negative times the negative cancels out, and we have a positive 6. We usually don't put a positive sign in front of our 6. We usually would just write that as a 6, and that means that it's positive. Be careful not to confuse with addition. So for example, if I have minus 2 plus a negative 3. That means I was in the hole $2, I went in the hole $3 more, my total is in the hole $5, so it's a negative 5. That is different than saying something like a negative 2 times a negative 3. When we have multiplying is when negative times negative would become a positive 6. So be careful with addition, don't get it confused. Okay, if I have 3 or more numbers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first 2 numbers. So I would use my PEMDAS rules, which means go from left to right. So I would go negative 3 times negative 5. Well, negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15 because negative times negative becomes positive. And then 15 times a negative 2 would give me a negative 30 because one is positive, one is negative. So one thing to notice is if I have an odd number of negatives, my final answer will be negative. If I had an even number of negatives, my final answer would be positive. Okay, now when to use the plus and when to use the times, use your order of operations. Don't forget, so be careful with that. This is saying 5 times a negative 3 plus negative 4 times a negative 2. This does not say 5 minus 3, so be careful with that. That's a common mistake students make. So 5 times a negative 3 becomes a negative 15, and a negative 4 times a negative 2 becomes a positive 8. Now I'm in the hole $15, I add $8, I'm still in the hole $7.